I understand that this statement may seem startling, perhaps even unsettling to some of you. You might be thinking, Wayne, what do you mean by assimilation? Surely, this world I see, touch, and experience is real. And to that, I say, yes, it is real, but perhaps not in the way you have always believed it to be. Let us begin by understanding what I mean when I say you are in assimilation. I am not speaking of some technological construct, some computer-generated reality as depicted in your science fiction tales. No, the simulation I speak of is far more profound, far more encompassing. It is the separation, the illusion of limitation, the dream of reality that we agreed to experience. You see, my dear friends, at the deepest level of reality, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness, the one God, the one I am. This divine consciousness is infinite, eternal, and all-encompassing. It knows no limitations, no boundaries, no separation. It is pure potential, pure creativity, pure love. Yet, here we find ourselves experiencing a world of seeming separation, of apparent limitations, of perceived duality. We experience ourselves as separate beings, distinct from each other and from the world around us. We perceive time as linear, space as fixed, and our abilities as limited. This, my friends, is the simulation. But why, you might ask, would we choose to experience such a simulation? Why would infinite consciousness choose to experience limitation? The answer, paradoxically, lies in the nature of infinity itself. For infinity to know itself, it must experience all possibilities, including the possibility of limitation. And so, we as individualized expressions of this infinite consciousness have chosen to immerse ourselves in this simulation of separation to experience the thrill of rediscovering our true infinite nature. Now, let us delve deeper into the nature of this simulation. The simulation is not something external to you. It is not a prison in which you are trapped. Rather, it is a creation of consciousness itself, your consciousness. You are not in the simulation. The simulation is in you. It is a dream you are dreaming. Again, you are playing with yourself. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very body you inhabit, all of these are projections of your consciousness. They are not causes, but effects. They do not define you, they reflect you. They are the outward pictures of your inner assumptions, your beliefs, your state of consciousness. This understanding is crucial, for it is the key to exiting the simulation. You see, you cannot exit the simulation by trying to change the outward pictures. You cannot break free by fighting against the shadows on the wall of Plato's cave. The only way out is in, by changing your consciousness, by awakening to your true nature as the dreamer of the dream. So, how do we begin this process of awakening, of exiting the simulation? The first step is awareness. You must become aware of the simulation, aware of the dreamlike nature of your reality. This awareness begins with observing your thoughts, your beliefs, your assumptions about yourself and the world around you. Start paying attention to your inner dialogue, to the story you tell yourself about who you are and what is possible for you. Notice how these inner conversations shape your experience of reality. Observe how your beliefs and assumptions manifest as the circumstances of your life. This observation must be done without judgment, without trying to change anything at first. Simply observe. Become the witness to your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own assumptions. As you do this, you will begin to see the patterns, the habitual ways of thinking that have shaped your experience of reality. You will start to notice how your beliefs about limitation, about lack, about unworthiness have manifested as experiences of limitation, lack, and unworthiness in your life. You will begin to see how your fears, your doubts, your anxieties have taken form in the world around you. This awareness is the first crack in the facade of the simulation. It is the beginning of your awakening. For in becoming aware of these patterns, you also become aware of your power to change them. You begin to realize that you are not a victim of circumstances, but the creator of your reality. As this awareness deepens, you will come to a profound realization that you are not the thinker of your thoughts, but the awareness behind the thoughts. You are not the beliefs, the assumptions, the fears, or the doubts. You are the consciousness that observes them. This realization is a crucial step in exiting the simulation. For as long as you identify with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your assumptions, you remain trapped in the simulation. But when you recognize yourself as the awareness behind these mental constructs, you begin to free yourself from their grip. Now, my dear friends, as we continue on this journey of awakening of seeing the simulation, we come to the next crucial step, the practice of detachment. Detachment in this context does not mean a lack of care or involvement in your life. Rather, it means detaching from your identification with the characters and circumstances of your dream. You see, within the simulation, we tend to identify strongly with our roles, our professions, our relationships, our possessions, our appointments, our problems. We say, I am a doctor, I am a mother, I am poor, I am successful, and so on. But these are not who you are. They are roles you are playing, costumes you are wearing in the grand drama of life. To exit the simulation, you must learn to detach from these identifications. You must realize that you are not the character in the dream, but the dreamer of the dream. You are not the wave at the ocean. You are not the role, but the actor playing the role. This detachment allows you to observe your life experiences from a higher perspective. It enables you to see the dreamlike nature of your reality more clearly. It frees you from the emotional entanglements that keep you bound to the simulation. Practice saying to yourself, I am not this body. I am not these thoughts. I am not these emotions. I am not these circumstances. I am the awareness that observes all these things. Do this regularly, especially when you find yourself caught up in the drama of life. As you practice this detachment, you will find that you can navigate life's challenges with greater ease and grace. You will be less reactive, less easily swayed by the ups and downs of life. You will begin to experience a deep sense of peace and freedom, regardless of external circumstances. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exiting the simulation, we come to a powerful technique, the practice of revision. Revision is not merely about changing your memories or rewriting your past. It is about recognizing your power as the author of your life story and consciously choosing to write a new narrative. You see, within the simulation, we often feel bound by our past experiences, our memories, our habitual patterns of thought and behavior. We believe that because something happened in the past, it must continue to influence our present and future. But this is part of the illusion. In truth, there is only the eternal now. The past exists only as memory. Memory is malleable. The future exists only as imagination. All power, all possibility exists in the present moment. And in this moment, you have the power to revise your story. Here's how to practice revision. At the end of each day, review the events of your day in your imagination. If there were any events that were not to your liking, revise them. See them unfolding in a way that pleases you. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the fulfillment of this revised version of events. This is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. Remember, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By revising events in your imagination, you are literally rewriting the energetic imprint of those events in your consciousness. And as you change your consciousness, you change your world. Extend this practice of revision to your entire life story. Are there past events that still trouble you? Revise them in your imagination. See them unfolding in a way that empowers you, that brings you joy. Feel the emotions of this new version of events as if they were real. Because in the realm of consciousness, they are real. As you engage in this practice of revision, you are doing more than just changing your memories. You are exercising your power as the author of your life story. You are recognizing that your reality is not fixed but fluid. You are stepping out of the linear time construct of the simulation and into the eternal now of true reality. Now, my dear listeners, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we come to a fundamental truth that you must not only understand, but embody. The power of your imagination. Your imagination is not some frivolous faculty for daydreaming or escapism. It is the very workshop wherein you fashion your reality. In the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that imagination is separate from reality. We say things like, it's just your imagination, as if to dismiss its importance. But I tell you now, your imagination is the most real, the most substantial thing in your experience. It is, in fact, the very substance of reality itself. When you imagine, you are not creating images in your mind. You are experiencing reality at its most fundamental level. You are engaging with the pure potential of consciousness, shaping it with your attention and your assumption. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your imagination consciously and deliberately. You must treat your imaginal acts as real events, for in the realm of consciousness, they are real events. They are causes set in motion that must, by universal law, produce effects in your outer world. Begin by choosing a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now, close your eyes and create a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of this desire. Make it as vivid and as real as possible. Engage all your senses. See the details. Hear the sounds. Feel the textures. Smell the scents associated with this scene. Most importantly, feel the emotions you would feel if this scene were actually happening in your physical reality. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the gratitude of having your desire fulfilled, for it is the feeling that gives life to your imaginal act. Now, here's the crucial part. You must persist in this imaginal act. You must return to it again and again, dwelling in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. You must live from this new assumption, this new state of consciousness, regardless of any contradictory evidence presented by your physical senses. Remember, the physical world you see around you is the effect, not the cause. It is the shadow, not the substance. By persisting in your imaginal act, by consistently assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause. And when the cause changes, the effect must change. This, my friends, is how you begin to consciously create your reality. This is how you start to exit the simulation. You are no longer a passive participant in a pre-programmed reality. You are the active creator, shaping your world with the power of your imagination. As you practice this, you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Circumstances will shift. Opportunities will arise. People will respond to you differently. These are signs that you are starting to break free from the old patterns of the simulation. But here's a word of caution. Do not become attached to these outer changes. Do not seek for signs or try to make things happen. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of your wish fulfilled. The how, the when, the where of its manifestation is not your concern. That belongs to the infinite intelligence of the universe. Your job is simply to imagine and believe, to live from the end, to dwell in the state of the wish fulfilled. As you do this, you are literally reprogramming the simulation. You are rewriting the code of your reality. You are rewriting the code of your reality. Now, let us delve deeper into another crucial aspect of exiting the simulation, the understanding and application of the law of assumption. This law states that your assumptions, whether conscious or unconscious, shape your reality. To assume a state is to experience that state. Within the simulation, we often feel that we are at the mercy of external circumstances. We believe that we must change our actions or our environment to change our lives. But this is part of the illusion. The truth is, all change begins within. It begins with a change in your assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must become conscious of your assumptions and deliberately choose new ones that align with your desires. This is not about positive thinking or affirmations. It's about a fundamental shift in your state of being. For example, if you desire financial abundance, you must assume the state of a wealthy person. How would a wealthy person think? How would they feel? How would they carry themselves? Assume that state now, regardless of your current bank balance. Live from that assumption. If you desire a loving relationship, assume the state of someone who is deeply loved and cherished. Feel that love now, even if you're currently single. Live from the assumption that love is your natural state. Remember, in the realm of consciousness, there is no process. There is only immediacy. The moment you assume a state, you are in that state. The outer world may take time to reflect this change, but in consciousness, it is instantaneous. This understanding liberates you from the linear time construct of the simulation. You no longer need to wait for your desires to manifest. You can experience them now in your imagination, which is the reality of all realities. As you practice living from your desired state, you may notice a peculiar phenomenon. The gap between your imaginal acts and your physical reality will begin to close. What you imagine will start to manifest with increasing speed and accuracy. This is a sign that you are loosening the bonds of the simulation. Now, my dear friends, as we continue our journey towards exiting the simulation, we must address a critical concept: the nature of your true self. Within the simulation, we identify with our physical bodies, our personalities, our personal histories, but these are not your true self. They are aspects of the character you are playing in this grand drama of life. Your true self is the awareness behind all these things. It is the observer, the witness, the knower of all your experiences. This true self is not bound by the limitations of the physical world. It is not subject to birth or death, to change or decay. It is eternal, infinite, and all-encompassing. To exit the simulation, you must shift your identity from the character to the actor, from the dream to the dreamer. This shift in identity is not something you can achieve through intellectual understanding alone. It must be experienced, realized at the deepest level of your being. One powerful way to facilitate this shift is through the practice of self-inquiry. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, who am I? Don't try to answer this question intellectually. Instead, turn your attention inward. Look for the source of the I thought. Who is this I that is experiencing all these things? As you inquire deeply, you may come to a startling realization that you cannot find a separate individual self. The more you look for it, the more it seems to disappear. What remains is pure awareness, boundless and free. This realization is not an intellectual concept, but a lived experience. It is the recognition of your true nature as pure consciousness. And this recognition is the key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as pure awareness, you are no longer bound by the limitations of the physical world. You are no longer identified with the character in the dream. You are the dreamer capable of shaping the dream at will. Now let us explore another powerful tool for exiting the simulation, the practice of living in the end. This technique involves assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled, living as if your desire has already been realized. You see, within the simulation, we have been conditioned to believe that we must take action in the physical world to achieve our goals. We think that if we work hard enough, struggle enough, we will eventually reach our desired end. But this approach keeps us trapped in the illusion of linear time and cause and effect. To exit the simulation, you must realize that the end is not something to be achieved in the future. The end is a state of consciousness to be assumed now. When you live in the end, you collapse time. You bring the future into the present moment. Here's how to practice living in the end. Choose a desire, something you wish to experience in your life. Now, instead of thinking about how to achieve this desire, imagine that it has already been fulfilled. How would you feel? How would you think? How would you act if this desire were already a reality in your life? Assume those feelings, thoughts, and actions now. Live from that state of consciousness. Speak, think, and act as the person who already has what you desire. This is not pretending or faking it. This is assuming a new state of being, a new state of consciousness. As you live in the end, you may notice that your outer world begins to rearrange itself to match your new inner state. People, circumstances, and opportunities that align with your assumed state will be drawn to you. This is not magic or coincidence. It is the natural result of aligning your consciousness with your desire. Remember, the outer world is a reflection of your inner world. By living in the end, you are changing the cause. Your state of consciousness and the effect your outer reality must change to match it. Now, my friends, as we delve deeper into the process of exiting simulation, we must address the role of your emotions. Within the simulation, we often believe that our emotions are reactions to external events. We think that we feel happy because something good happened, or sad because something bad happened. But this is part of the illusion. Your emotions are not reactions to the world around you. They are creative forces that shape your reality. They are the energy that gives life to your thoughts and assumptions. To exit the simulation, you must learn to use your emotions consciously and deliberately. Instead of allowing your emotions to be triggered by external events, choose the emotions that align with your desired reality. Feel the joy, the gratitude, the love that you would feel if your desires were already fulfilled. This may seem challenging at first, especially if your current circumstances seem to contradict your desired reality. But remember, your circumstances are the effect, not the cause. By choosing to feel the emotions of your wish fulfilled, you are changing the cause, and the effect must follow. Practice feeling these positive emotions regardless of your external circumstances. When you wake up in the morning, before you even open your eyes, fill yourself with the feeling of joy, of gratitude, of love. Carry these feelings with you throughout your day. Let them inform your thoughts, your words, your actions. As you do this, you may notice a shift in your perception of the world around you. Things that used to bother you may no longer affect you. Opportunities that you didn't see before may suddenly become apparent. This is a sign that you are beginning to see through the illusion of the simulation. Now, let us discuss another crucial aspect of exciting the simulation, the understanding of your oneness with all of creation. Within the simulation, we experience ourselves as separate beings distinct from each other in the same way that we experience ourselves in the simulation. We are separate beings distinct from each other and from the world around us. But this separation is an illusion, a fundamental aspect of the simulation itself. In truth, we are all one. We are individualized expressions of the one divine consciousness. Just as the waves are not separate from the ocean, we are not separate from the infinite field of consciousness that is the source of all creation. To exit the simulation, you must not only understand this truth intellectually, but experience it directly. One powerful way to do this is through the practice of meditation. As you sit in silence, focusing your attention inward, you may begin to experience a dissolution of the boundaries of your individual self. You may have moments where you feel a deep connection with all of life, where the sense of separation falls away, and you experience yourself as pure awareness. These moments are glimpses of reality beyond the simulation. Cultivate these experiences. Seek them out, not just in formal meditation, but in your daily life. Look for the divine in everything and everyone around you. Recognize that the same consciousness that is looking out through your eyes is looking out through the eyes of every other being. As you embrace this understanding of oneness, you will find that your attitude towards others and towards life itself begins to change. You will naturally become more compassionate, more loving, more understanding. You will begin to see that by helping others, you are helping yourself, for there is no true separation between you and others. This realization of oneness is a powerful key to exiting the simulation. For when you know yourself as one with all of creation, you tap into the infinite power and intelligence of the universe. You realize that all the power you have been seeking outside yourself has been within you all along. Now, my dear friends, as we near the conclusion of our exploration, let us address one final crucial point, the importance of persistence and faith in your journey to exit the simulation. In your journey to exit the simulation, this path we have outlined is not always easy. There will be times when the illusion of the simulation seems overwhelmingly real, when your old habits of thought and emotion try to reassert themselves. In these moments, you must persist. You must hold fast to your new understanding, to your new state of consciousness. Remember, the simulation has been your lived reality for so long. It will not disappear overnight. But with persistence and faith, its hold on you will gradually loosen. Have faith in the process. Have faith in your true nature as pure consciousness. Have faith in your power to shape your reality. This faith is not blind belief, but a deep knowing that comes from your direct experience of these truths. Persist in your imaginal acts. Persist in living from the end. Persist in feeling the emotions of your wish fulfilled. Persist in your realization of oneness with all of creation, even when your senses argue against it, even when the outer world seems unchanged. Persist, for it is through this persistence that you reprogram the simulation. It is through this persistence that you align your consciousness with the reality beyond the simulation. It is through this persistence that you ultimately exit the simulation and step into the full realization of your true nature. My dear friends, as we come to the end of our discussion, I want you to remember this. You are not trapped in the simulation. You are the creator of the simulation. You have the power to shape it, to transform it, and ultimately to transcend it. The journey of exiting the simulation is not about escaping from your current reality. It's about awakening to the greater reality of which your current experience is but a small part. It's about remembering your true nature as infinite, eternal consciousness. As you leave here today, carry this knowledge with you. Apply these principles in your daily life. Be aware of your thoughts, your assumptions, your emotions. Use your imagination consciously and deliberately. Live from the state of your wish fulfilled. Recognize your oneness with all of creation, and above all, persist. Persist in your new understanding. Persist in your new state of being. For it is through this persistence that you will ultimately break free from the limitations of the simulation and step into the full realization of your divine nature. Remember, you are not in the simulation. The simulation is in you. You are the dreamer, not the dream. You are the creator, not the creation. Embrace this truth. Live from this truth. And watch as your world transforms around you. Go forth now, armed with this knowledge, empowered by this understanding. The journey of awakening, of exiting the simulation, begins now, and it begins with you. Thank you. And may your journey be filled with joy, wonder, and the thrill of rediscovering your true, infinite nature. Have you ever noticed that when you truly understand something, when it clicks deep within your consciousness, your entire world shifts? Tonight, I want to share with you a profound truth that will transform how you experience reality itself. Right now, as you listen to these words, the universe is orchestrating events beyond your imagination. Forces are aligning, circumstances are shifting, and a wave of incredible manifestations is heading your way. But here's the crucial part. Most people miss these blessings because they're looking in the wrong direction and are failing to imagine the magnetism. You see, the universe doesn't repay you based on what you do. It repays you based on who you are being in your consciousness. This is the secret that changes everything. When you grasp this truth, you'll understand why some people seem to effortlessly attract their desires while others struggle endlessly. Think about this. Every moment of your life, you're broadcasting a signal to the universe through your consciousness. This signal isn't your words, your actions, or even your thoughts. It's your state of being. It's the feeling you carry within you. Most people spend their entire lives trying to manipulate external circumstances, never realizing that the external is merely a reflection of their internal state. They chase success, love, wealth, always reaching, always striving, never understanding that these things aren't to be pursued but to be assumed. Let me share something profound with you. The universe isn't separate from you. It is you extended. Every person, every circumstance, every event in your life is yourself pushed out. When you truly understand this, you'll realize why the universe must repay you, because it's simply responding to what you're being. Tonight, I'm going to show you how to position yourself to receive these universal repayments. But first, you must understand that this isn't about doing more. It's about being more. It's about expanding your consciousness to embrace the reality you desire. The secret to feeling truly alive lies not in what you accumulate or achieve, but in your capacity to feel the reality of your desires. Now, most people live in a state of emotional numbness, going through the motions of life without ever experiencing its full vibrancy. Consider this. When was the last time you felt absolutely, unshakably alive? When every state in your body vibrated with the energy of pure being, that state isn't something to be found. It's something to be claimed through your consciousness. Mirror your kingdom. Mirror your power. Mirror your glory. Mirror your glory. Mirror your life. This is a quote from the style in the book. You see, at this very moment, you're experiencing only a tiny fraction of what life has to offer. You've constructed walls in your consciousness, limitations that seem real, but exist only because you've accepted them as truth. These walls weren't built by the universe. They were built by your assumptions. You saw this wall that you drew as a way of protecting and closing yourself in. Let me share a principle that will revolutionize your understanding. Every sensation you've ever experienced, every emotion you've ever felt, exists within your consciousness. You don't need external circumstances to feel alive. You need only to awaken to the aliveness that already exists within you. Find that space, that inner presence, that inner awareness, that inner understanding. Most people wait for something external to make them feel alive. They wait for the perfect relationship, the ideal job, the dream house. But I tell you this, waiting is the very thing that keeps you from experiencing the fullness of life. The universe responds not to your wanting, but to your being. When you feel truly alive, when you embody the state of vibrant, pulsing life force, the universe must, by law, reflect that state back to you in countless unexpected ways. Everyone toast around, you were here once, now you're begging for another chance to come back. Think about this. Every moment of intense aliveness you've ever experienced was created not by external circumstances, but by your consciousness. Those moments when you felt invincible, when you felt connected to everything, those weren't given to you by the world. They were created by your assumption of that state. The key to constant renewal, to feeling perpetually alive, lies in understanding that consciousness is the only reality. Whatever you feel to be true, whatever state you occupy in consciousness, must be reflected in your external world. What most people don't realize is that feeling alive isn't something that happens to you. Your consciousness is the gateway through which all experiences flow. When you change your consciousness, you change the entire spectrum of your experiences. Consider the vastness of the universe for a moment. Billions of galaxies, infinite possibilities, all existing simultaneously. Yet you experience only what you accept as possible in your consciousness. Your current experience of life is merely one tiny channel on an infinite broadcast spectrum. The universe is constantly trying to repay you with experiences that match your highest vision. But here's the crucial point. You must tune your consciousness to receive these experiences. Just as a radio can only receive the frequencies it's tuned to, your consciousness can only experience what it's aligned with. Most people live their entire lives never adjusting their frequency. They stay tuned to the same channel of limited experiences, never realizing they have access to the entire spectrum of existence. They feel stuck, stagnant, barely alive, when infinite vitality is available to them. Let me show something profound about the nature of feeling alive. When you truly feel alive, you're not just experiencing life, you're creating it. Every moment of genuine aliveness is a moment of pure creation. In those moments, you're not separate from the creative force of the universe. You are that force, individualized. But here's where most people miss the mark. They try to feel alive through external stimulation. They chase experiences, relationships, achievements, never realizing that these things can't make them feel alive. They can only reflect the aliveness that already exists within their consciousness. The universe is waiting to repay you with experiences that will take your breath away, but it can only give you what you're prepared to receive in consciousness. If you're operating from a state of emotional deadness, of limited expectations, that's exactly what will be reflected back to you. Think about the times when you felt most alive. In those moments, you weren't trying to feel alive, you simply were alive. You weren't reaching for something outside yourself. You were fully present in your own being. That's the state from which miracles flow. The secret that most people miss is that the universe doesn't respond to what you want. It responds to what you are. If you're constantly living in a state of wanting to feel alive, you're actually affirming your current state of not feeling alive. This is why so many people remain stuck despite their best efforts. Let me share with you a profound truth about consciousness. Your consciousness is not confined to your physical body. It extends to everything you're aware of. When you feel truly alive, that aliveness permeates your entire world. Everything you touch, everyone you interact with, must reflect that state back to you. Most people don't realize that they are constantly creating their reality through their state of consciousness. Every moment, every interaction, every experience is shaped by the state you're occupying. If you're operating from a state of limited aliveness, your experiences will reflect that limitation. Consider this. The universe is not a random collection of events and circumstances. It's a perfect mirror reflecting back to you your own consciousness. When you understand this, you'll realize why some people seem to live charmed lives while others struggle continuously. The key to receiving unexpected blessings from the universe lies in expanding your consciousness to embrace more life, not just theoretically, but actually feeling more alive in your day-to-day existence. This isn't about positive thinking. It's about positive being. Most people live in a state of emotional contraction. They've learned to suppress their natural vitality, to dim their light, to exist rather than truly live. But I tell you this, that contracted state is not natural. Your natural state is one of expanding aliveness. Think about a time when you felt absolutely unstoppable. In that moment, you weren't doing anything special. You were simply being in a state of expanded consciousness. That state is always available to you. It's not something to achieve. It's something to allow. The universe is constantly trying to give you more life, more vitality, more experiences that make you feel truly alive. But it can only give you what you're willing to receive in consciousness. Listen carefully now, because this is where most people go wrong. They think they need to work harder, do more, achieve more to feel alive. But I tell you, feeling alive is your natural state. You don't need to earn it. You only need to remove the barriers you've placed in your consciousness. Think of your consciousness as an infinite ocean of possibilities. Right now, you're experiencing only a tiny drop of that ocean, not because the rest isn't available to you, but because you've limited yourself through your assumptions about what's possible. The universe is preparing to repay you in ways that will astonish you, but you must be ready to receive. This readiness isn't about external preparation. It's about expanding your consciousness to embrace more life, more possibilities, more of everything that makes you feel vibrantly alive. Most people live in a state of constant preparation, always getting ready for life, but never fully living it. They're waiting for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, the ideal conditions. But I tell you this, the perfect moment is now. The ideal condition is your current consciousness expanded to embrace more life. Consider how a flower blooms. It doesn't struggle or strain. It doesn't try to force its petals open. It simply allows its natural state of blossoming to unfold. Your consciousness works the same way. When you stop struggling and start allowing, when you cease trying to feel alive and simply allow yourself to be alive, everything changes. The universe operates through law, not luck. When you maintain a state of expanded consciousness, of genuine aliveness, that state must by law be reflected in your external world. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the operation of universal law. Most people don't realize that their current circumstances are simply their past assumptions made manifest. Whatever you're experiencing now is the result of the state you've been occupying in consciousness. Change the state and you change everything. But here's the crucial point. You can't fake this. You can't pretend to feel alive and expect the universe to respond. You must actually occupy the state of expanded consciousness, of genuine aliveness. The secret to receiving unexpected blessings lies in understanding that the universe doesn't respond to your desires, it responds to your assumptions. When you assume a state of expanded consciousness, when you live from that state consistently, the universe must conform to match your assumption. Most people make the mistake of trying to change their circumstances while maintaining the same consciousness. They want different results but continue operating from the same limited state. This is like planting apple seeds and expecting to grow oranges. Let me share something profound about the nature of consciousness. Your consciousness is creative. It's constantly creating your reality, whether you're aware of it or not. Every moment you're either creating from a state of expanded awareness or from a state of limitation. Think about the last time something amazing happened unexpectedly. In that moment, weren't you in a state of openness, of expanded possibilities? That state wasn't created by the circumstance. The circumstance was created by the state. The universe is waiting to shower you with experiences that will make your heart sing. But you must be vibrating at the frequency of those experiences. You must be living from the state that matches what you want to receive. Most people live in a state of emotional constriction, constantly bracing themselves against life. They've learned to expect limitations, to anticipate problems, to prepare for the worst. But I tell you this, that contracted state is creating more of the very things they're trying to avoid. Consider how different your life would be if you lived constantly from a state of expanded consciousness. If you moved through each day feeling fully alive, fully present, fully open to receiving, that state isn't something to achieve, it's something to allow. The universe operates with mathematical precision. Whatever state you occupy in consciousness must be reflected in your external world. This isn't theory, this is law. Most crucial understanding you must grasp is that your current state of consciousness is creating your future experiences. Every moment you spend feeling limited, constrained, or barely alive is setting the stage for more of the same. But every moment you spend in expanded consciousness is creating future moments of unexpected blessings. Think about this deeply. The universe isn't withholding anything from you. It's constantly offering you everything, but you can only receive what your consciousness is prepared to accept. If you're living in a state of emotional contraction, you're literally closing the door to countless blessings. Most people live as if life is happening to them, when in truth life is happening through them. Your consciousness is the lens through which all your experiences are filtered. Change the lens and you change everything you see and experience. Consider the difference between watching a sunset while feeling fully alive and watching the same sunset while feeling emotionally numb. The sunset hasn't changed, but your experience of it is completely different. This is how consciousness shapes reality. The universe is preparing to repay you with experiences that will transform your understanding of what's possible, but you must be ready. This readiness isn't about external preparation. It's about maintaining a state of expanded consciousness consistently. Most people can't sustain an expanded state because they're constantly reacting to external circumstances. They allow their state to be determined by what's happening around them, rather than allowing their state to determine what happens. Let me share something profound about the nature of reality. Everything you experience is a reflection of your consciousness. There is no such thing as an external event that isn't connected to your state of consciousness. Everything is yourself pushed out. When you understand this, you'll realize why some people seem to live charmed lives while others struggle constantly. It's not about luck or fate. It's about the state of consciousness they consistently occupy. The key to receiving unexpected blessings lies in maintaining an expanded state regardless of external circumstances. This doesn't mean ignoring reality. It means understanding that your consciousness creates reality. Think about a time when everything in your life seemed to flow effortlessly. In that state, you weren't doing anything different externally. You were being different internally. You were operating from a state of expanded consciousness. Most people spend their lives trying to arrange circumstances to feel better when they should be arranging their consciousness to create better circumstances. The sequence is crucial. First the state, then the manifestation. Your task is simple, though not always easy. You must maintain a state of expanded consciousness, regardless of what your senses show you. You must feel fully alive even when circumstances suggest otherwise. You must live from the end, feeling what you want to experience before it manifests externally. The universe operates through immutable laws. Whatever state you consistently occupy in consciousness must be reflected in your external world. This isn't wishful thinking. This is the operation of law. You leave here tonight, remember this. The universe is not separate from you. It is you extended. Every blessing you receive, every unexpected gift, every moment of synchronicity is simply your consciousness made manifest. Don't wait for external circumstances to make you feel alive. Choose to feel alive now. Don't wait for success to feel successful. Occupy that state now. Don't wait for abundance to feel abundant. Live from that state now. The universe will repair you not based on what you do, but based on who you are being in consciousness. Be the person who lives fully, who embraces life completely, who expects miracles as naturally as breathing. Your role is not to make things happen. Your role is to assume the state that allows things to happen. Live from that state consistently and watch as the universe rearranges itself to match your assumption. Remember, the power that you seek is not outside you. It is your very consciousness. Use it wisely. Use it consistently. Use it with the understanding that every moment of expanded consciousness is creating future moments of unexpected blessing. Go forth now. Not to achieve, but to be. Not to get, but to embody. Not to become, but to assume. For in this lies the secret of receiving everything you've ever desired and more than you could ever imagine. The universe is waiting to repay you in ways beyond your current comprehension, but you must be ready. You must be willing. You must be living in the state of consciousness that matches what you want to receive. That is your task. That is your opportunity. That is your destiny. The choice is yours. Choose wisely. Choose now. Choose to live from the state of consciousness that matches your highest vision. For in that choice lies everything you've ever wanted and more than you've ever dreamed possible.